Thurneysen here with us again, and today we are going to be talking about the substantive verb, or the verb to be. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion that this chapter or this section might be a little denser than some of the other ones that we've gone through. I've tried to pick out some of the more accessible chapters to start with, but I think we've gone through most of the more accessible chapters, so that leaves us with some of the really deep, nitty-gritty grammar chapters, so I hope everyone's ready for that. I hope I'm ready for that. Alright, so let's see what we have here. The verb to be. The verb to be has two sets of forms, which are usually distinguished as the substantive verb and the copula. The copula consists of unstressed or proclitic forms, which immediately precede the predicate and denote the connection between it and the subject. The substantive verb is stressed and usually has a wider connotation: existence, presence, being in a certain condition, etc. But it can also have the meaning of the copula and is always so used when the predicate does not immediately follow. This use is found: number 1, regularly where the verb stands in a nasalizing relative clause and refers to a predicate expressed by a word in the principal clause. For example, on the rendrave, from that which it, the word nupta, is. And I'll skip the others. Number 2, in the rare cases where the subject stands between verb and predicate. For example, ata dia atah duni ashtethrevo. God is a refuge to us, the people of the two tribes. Okay, let's see. Isolated examples where the predicate follows the verb directly. As in, bydd ersholechi ein forig. Be ye doors opened before your king, are unexplained. I like that. They just don't know what it's about, so no one knows. They're just unexplained. Fair enough. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why he's made this entire section a footnote. That's so weird. Maybe I don't fully understand the distinction in font there. Or maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. They forgot to switch back from this one or something. Anyway. Instead of the substantive verb and a case governed by a preposition, a compound may be formed, particularly in relative clauses, by putting the preposition before the verb and keeping the dependent case unchanged. The preposition gain becomes gainmi, or gainma, or gainma. also used as conjunction. Later, irvotha or yavotha are also used adverbally for afterwards, previously. A similar formation is imatha, imtha, with or without following saiflat. So is our negative, nivtha, not is so. Maybe that was meant to be something of an aside, I'm not sure, but we've gone through it anyway. The substantive verb. The interchange of different verbal stems is particularly evident in the present indicative, where ata, vil, and rungav supplement each other. In the other tenses, all forms begin with a b that comes from the root found in Sanskrit, I think that is, bhavati, is, and then some Greek that I unfortunately cannot read. Latin, fui, futurus, fio, etc. Let me just... No, I was going to double check, but I won't. I'm so sure that it's Sanskrit. Okay. Besides the ordinary present, this verb has a special consuetudinal present. The particle rho, in its various meanings, can be combined only with forms of the consuetudinal, not the ordinary present. All forms containing the stem be take rho, not no, like other verbs, to support an infixed personal pronoun. Hashtag not like the other verbs. For example, rosvi, they always have. The ordinary present indicative. The commonest form is ata, sometimes spelled with 2 T's or 1 T. In other words, adta, which drops the preposition ad after a conjunct particle. It has the same root as Latin stare, and the Greek I could not try to read, unfortunately. These forms are used, first, in sentences which are non-relative according to Irish syntax, when no conjunct particle precedes the verb. Only once does atat and appear to be used in a leniting relative clause. Second, after conjunct particles in clauses of every kind. A. When an infixed personal pronoun with a dative sense is attached to the particle. For example, ninta, there is not to us, or we have not. B. When the conjunct particle consists of a preposition. Is that simple? Okay, I guess that's when the conjunct particle consists of a preposition plus the relative element. Okay. B. When the conjunct particle consists of a preposition plus the relative element, son, and after in, which, or whom. For example, lasata, with whom or which is. Let's see. Conjunct flexion. First person singular, thou or to. Second person singular, thy. Third person singular, tha. Passive, t'other. First person plural, thon. meaning to be angry, vexed. The antecedent denotes the cause of the anger. For example, ised dardov. That is why people are vexed with me. 3. The third person singular with suffixed pronoun. For example, dalu. There is to us, we have. Besides ata, the form feel, also fel, is used. That which is follows in the accusative or is expressed by an infixed personal pronoun. In origin, fil is the imperative C of the verb, which appears in Middle Welsh as gwelet, to see, but it has come to be felt entirely as the substantive verb. It is used first after conjunct particles not followed by a dative personal pronoun. For example, nikon fil nachrein. There is no part. Second, in leniting relative clauses where it often has the form fil vela. For example, a fil, that which is, in the verfel and of the men who are there. Here probably belongs the use of fil in reply to a question. For example, in falnal condesta. Fil o Patrick. Is there aught else that thou wouldst demand? There is, said Patrick. Or Patrick, I guess probably. In archaic texts and poetry, it may be used in other positions, also with the meaning there is, are. For example, Vilus danu tri genela matra atalogvara. There are, moreover, 3 kinds of martyrdom that are precious. In nasalizing relative clauses, the perfect of the verb gavid takes, with infixed pronoun third person neuter, is used in the sense of is, etc. The D can disappear between N and G. For example, rungav, first person singular. In relative clauses, we find also dokoishin with impersonal construction. For example, amal don koishin, as we really are. It usually has a somewhat wider meaning. For example, to exist. Arnaf uliv kumachtiv di hoishin, for all the powers which exist. Etymologically connected with dokoishin is the personal deponent. Dixnigetar, often used by the glossators to render the present tense forms of Latin esse, even when serving as the copula, when severed from their context or in attempts to reproduce non-Irish constructions. For example, Kiae nun dixnager shu, in class kisis. Interesting. See, in relative clauses, the preterite of adkumaing, it happens, befalls, with infixed personal pronoun can be used approximately in the sense of to be. For example, kindas persna ata dohoivnik. What sort of person art thou? In composition, except with ad, tha does not interchange with fil or rondgab, but is used for the present indicative in every type of clause. For example, which they approximate in form the subjunctive and preterite, with the result that all their forms begin with B. For example, this walnut beside this nut, they are lacking. Consuetudinal present, the tested forms, the absolute first person singular bew, third person singular beed, relative bees or beesh, conjunct first person, I guess singular, if that format's right, bew, second person singular be, third person singular be, enclitic ruby or ruby. Absolute first person plural be me, relative be me, third person plural bead, relative bead, third person singular beer, relative beer, conjunct first person plural, I guess, beam, third person plural beat, enclitic rubat, passive beer, enclitic rubar, or ruvar, maybe. Imperfect first person singular bean, third person singular be, passive singular be, plural first person plural beamies, third person plural beaties. Imperative second person singular be, third person singular be or beat, second person plural bead, third person plural bead. Present subjunctive absolute first person singular bew, 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 not quite sure. Third person singular bay, relative beige, first person plural baby, second person plural bayi, third person plural bait, relative bait. Conjunct first person singular big, second person singular, I suppose, bay, third person singular bay, enclitic roive. Conjunct first person singular beo, second person singular bay, third person singular bay, enclitic roive or roib. First person plural bim or bib, enclitic roba. Second person plural bay, enclitic robeeth. Third person plural bid, enclitic robath. Passive third person singular bear, relative bear. Past subjunctive first person singular bane, second person singular bear, third person singular bay, enclitic roveth. First person plural bemis, second person plural bea, third person plural beidish, enclitic rovitish. The short E of the stem and the ending of the first person singular babe seems to indicate that the Irish subjunctive is really based on the Indo-European subjunctive of the root es. In other words, first person singular originally eso estis. But this may be rather the absolute form. Thoesta is lacking, makes subjunctive third person singular decisive. Moving on to the future tense. Absolute first person singular bia, second person singular ba, third person singular beeth, relative bias, first person plural beimi, second person plural beeth, third person plural beeth, relative beta. The conjunct bia, probably third person singular bia, first person plural biem, second person plural beeth, third person plural beeth. Secondary future, first person singular bane, third person singular beeth, first person plural bemis, third person plural beidis. Since the Welsh indicative byddaf means I shall be in addition to I am wont to be, and Cornish byddaf or byddaf is likewise used as the future, it has been suggested with some probability that the inflection of Irish bia, like an a subjunctive, is due to analogy with other futures. On the other hand, bia could conceivably be a real subjunctive of beed, formed like Latin viam. In Middle Welsh, too, future forms like byddawt, plural byddawt, are found. Thoesta is lacking, makes future third person singular deceba. Preterite. Conjunct. First person singular ba, enclitic roba or raba. Second person singular ba, third person singular by, enclitic robai. First person plural bamar, enclitic rovamar. Second person plural bide, enclitic rovide. Third person plural bather, enclitic rovadar, ravadar. Passive both, or both, I guess. Absolute first person singular ba, third person singular by, plural first person balmer, third person plural bather. Passive boha. The third person singular boy could go back to boa or voa, an unreduplicated perfect, or alternatively to voa, whence Celtic bava. I wonder if the abbreviation Celt is Proto-Celtic. I bet it is. Let's double check that. Interesting. Okay. It says Celt stands for Celtic, which is funny. I think that they maybe mean Proto-Celtic, because that little asterisk before the word there, or ending, the morpheme, I guess I should say, usually in historical linguistics means that that's a reconstructed form, that it's not actually attested. So I suspect they mean that it comes from Proto-Celtic. But this would leave unexplained the A stem of the other form show no trace of W. It is not certain that the conjunct third person singular of the copula po represents a shortening of po.